Do you see any way in which are the rest of us in society moving closer towards pornography with, let's say, self-sexualization on Instagram, where you're sort of part of a mildly erotic feedback loop if you're a young woman and you notice what, suddenly a photo you've taken has 10 times the number of likes on it?
I would say social media has a huge part into doing and kind of almost making somewhat hypersexualizing yourself more casual. And I think a lot of it is this desire of engagement, as well as like people becoming an Instagram model or influencer so that they sell products. I know I recently listened to like a Chris D'Elia podcast where he was joking about,
comedian.
Yes, a comedian.
He's amazing.
Oh, he's hilarious. I love him. And in his podcast, he's making jokes about these girls who are kind of, smashing their chest together, holding a watch, and they're selling a watch, but nobody is obviously looking at the watch. And it's interesting how, in every kind of advertising world and media, and they use sex to sell things. And so it's very normal. But now when you're taking the regular girl who's not some Vogue supermodel, where it's like a Kendall Jenner, where she's obviously is selling sex but not selling sex because it's perfume. These other girls are kind of doing the same thing, and I think for them that they almost recognize it more so that they are selling sex because they're not getting this Vogue ad to show that it is showcasing that they're with Vogue.
And I think this is one of the difficulties that a lot of us are having, is that traditionally we've always been self-deceptive about sexuality, and that the signals, even biologically, just in terms of evolutionary theory, the signals that we send, which constitute the sort of language of sexuality, have always been cryptic. They're not sent transparently and in the clear. Maybe that's more the case inside of the world of professional pornography. But in fact, being deceptive and self-deceptive is what is normal. And I think one of the things that has been very confusing is this passion, partially on behalf of like the psychological community or professional sex educators, be open, be explicit, talk about everything. And that's never been how sexuality has functioned in what you call the civilian world.
No, sometimes I wonder if it has to do with the fact that people enjoy this taboo sense of things, where it's almost like if it's unspoken, then it's more enjoyable. If it's kind of subliminal, it's almost like it's sneaking its way into yourself. And then if it is kind of like less open, then maybe they would have if it was direct, then maybe they would have certain other guidelines that they would have to follow. If this perfume commercial was obviously transparent with the fact that they are using sexuality to sell their perfume, then maybe in the real world, the civilian world, they would be like, you can't do that. That's inappropriate. Our children see these commercials. It's aired on television at regular waking hours. And I think that probably has something to do with the part of it where if it is subliminal and it's not direct, then it could be more acceptable to the human eye, and it could be something that where people are like, well, no, it's a lingerie company that's like classy and pretty, even though it's obviously selling sexuality at the same time.